Well, imagine calling 911 in a moment of crisis just to wait for someone to pick up the phone. That is the reality for some in the Las Vegas Valley, holding up to 10 minutes for 911 calls and hours for non-emergency matters.
Shauna Kalafi explains why some 911 callers are being forced to hold the line while their life might be on the line. It's a story you'll only see right here on Fox 5.
When we talk about the person who's actually calling, I mean, realistically 10 seconds can seem like a lifetime.
The phone keeps ringing for some people calling 911 in the Las Vegas Valley. Often during times of desperate need, the clock ticking with every ring.
Did she leave in a vehicle or on foot now?
Currently, our average answer time for 911 calls is in the neighborhood of 47 seconds, which is still very high when we really think about the overall need of somebody that's calling for police assistance. During a busy hour, we've seen wait times, they can be up to 10 minutes.
For non-emergency 311 calls answered at a lower priority by Metro's call center, current wait times range from 11 minutes up to 4 hours.
We have citizens that are calling in the 311 line and trying to get through to our organization, and they're waiting an hour or longer for service. And that is not acceptable to me as your sheriff.
Metro Communications Bureau Commander Jose Hernandez says more calls are coming in while staffing numbers are lacking, leading to the longer wait times. In January, the call center answered over 101,000 911 calls, and by May, it was up to 139,000, with no sign of slowing down.
On an average, we'll receive anywhere from 6,000 to 6,500 calls a day.
And those aren't the only calls waiting on the line. Non-emergency calls add about 40,000 to those monthly numbers. Hernandez says hang-up calls also prolong the process. So if you need emergency assistance, it's best to wait on hold and keep your place in the queue.
If not, our operators have to call that abandoned call, confirm what the need is, and then move on to the next call. That's a person who's waiting on 911 to get police assistance.
Metro operates the largest 911 center in the state of Nevada, but it's far from fully staffed.
I'm authorized 145 dispatchers, and we have 100 call takers. Now, in terms of what I have right now assigned, it's about 50% of that.
The Academy just graduated its largest class of call takers and dispatchers, but they still have several months of training before they can answer calls on their own.
With the new trainees and an upcoming academy that we're very excited about, which will be hopefully another large academy, those vacancies will be pretty much filled.
We had to make a change and make it very quickly, but I'm also not willing to sacrifice the type of people that we hire. I'm not willing to sacrifice our values and our goals, because the men and women that you see before you are part of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. They are the first responder.
Shauna Kalafi, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
The police department does hope to have that call center fully staffed very soon.
But again, there are several months of training after the academy. We will check back in once those new recruits get to work and see if those long 911 hold times are improving.